Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of the Old Men Magic podcast with your hosts, Alex and Steve. In today's episode, we spend nearly the entire time geeking out over Dominaria Remastered. We were going to talk about Goblins, but there was no time. The Goblins will have to wait. So let's get right into the episode. I hope you enjoy. Okay, ready to get started, Alex?
I am.
Ready to get started. I'm ready to get started as well. Wanted to talk about a few things today. The first is I went to another LGS.
Ooh.
I heard about this LGS on Twitter. There is somebody that I follow from the Playing with Power YouTube channel. His name is Cal, and I know that the Playing with Power people, at least some of them, are located in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
And he said something, he mentioned something about, he wasn't in town. And he was bummed because his favorite LGS is having some kind of sale. And I was like, oh, what's the LGS? I might be kind of close by. I want to stop by. And it was one I hadn't heard about before, one I hadn't visited yet. It's called the Warp Gate. So I went to visit the Warp Gate. And it was really nice, actually. So I went there after work one night. And while I was there, some people were like rolling in and taking their decks out, and they were starting to get ready to play. I don't know what it is they were playing, what format. I checked the website. There's no pre-modern. There's no pre-modern night, but they do have, I think, a legacy night, and then they have a commander night. But they had, I went there to see, what their single selection was like, and also to ask to see if I could buy some basic lands from them. But they had a really nice single selection. Like they had a pretty big case up front. It was like an L-shaped case, it wrapped around. They had mostly more modern stuff, but every once in a while I would see some things from like some pre-modern sets, maybe some revised stuff. They had another case kind of further back behind the L-shaped case with reserve list stuff. They had some duels in there. I saw a Rasputin from Legends. And then most of the reserve list stuff was also from like the pre-modern era. I saw Sarah Sanctum, Gilded Drake, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I asked about the basic lands, and she said, oh, we have a box of basic lands like in the back of the store. They're all 2 cents a piece. You can just dig through them. So I did that. But unfortunately, there were 0 basic lands from the sets that I wanted. I'm looking for.
Oh, really? Just all new stuff?
I'm looking for Mirage, Tempest, Urza's Saga. Of course, if I found like Unlimited or Beta, I'd buy the shit out of those. But, they don't have them. Yeah, it was all just like new stuff. So I was just, new border, really new stuff. 2022 mountains, flimsy cardboard. Wasn't into it. But because they did have a nice selection of singles, there were a couple things there that I picked up that I wanted. I picked up a Hermit Druid, Alex.
Oh. I see him. He's all blurry, yeah. There, yeah.
From Stronghold, 1 colorless, 1 green. Tap, pay a green. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put that card into your hand and put all other revealed cards into your graveyard. It's a 1/1 Druid. I'm not actually doing anything with this card right now. I just picked it up because I see people running in some pre-modern decks.
Mm-hmm. I almost bought one at one point.
Different combo
decks. I still
decks.
will.
There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. Right now, I'm not running any fancy combo decks. I'm just doing basic stuff, green stompy goblins. But one day I'll probably play the Hermit Druid. I got another thing. This was my big purchase. A Wooded Foothills, Alex.
Ooh.
I bought a fetch land from Onslaught. I kind of want to get the Onslaught fetch lands. Now is probably not a great time to buy them because they might be at like their peak price. And they're probably going to be reprinted.
Is that because they haven't been because they're like due for a reprint? Is that
I think so, yes, because some of the fetch lands, whichever like Bloodstained Mire is one that was recently reprinted. There was a set of like 4 or 5 of them that were recently reprinted, and those ones plummeted in price. I don't know if they halved or not. Let me go to MTG stocks.
Yeah, I've heard people discussing like how either Allied or Enemy, like they've reprinted one of them but not the other recently. Yes. And they're like hoping for I guess this would be an Enemy fetch land. I'm not sure. I might have it wrong or backwards, you know. But this is, yeah,
I'm
red,
screwing
green.
it up. I said Bloodstained Mire. That's not. So this is another one that's very expensive. The blue, the red and the black one, Bloodstained Mire. The ones that I want are the Onslaught. The Onslaught fetch lands because they're the old frame fetch lands. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get the old frame fetch lands.
Yeah, that's the only old frame version, right? Yeah.
Yes, the Onslaught ones. And these would be the allied lands, right? Red, green.
Is it?
Sorry.
So dumb I am. I don't know.
Red, black is definitely allied, right?
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
That's the Bloodstained Mire.
I guess, yeah, red's
flooded,
against blue and white, so it would be, is everything against two things and with, yeah, the other two then. Okay.
Flooded Strand is another Onslaught fetch land. This is like $90 right now. This is white blue. If you look at the most expensive cards from Onslaught, they're all the original fetch lands: Polluted Delta,
Yeah.
Flooded Strand, Bloodstained Mire, Wooded Foothills, Windswept Heath. Those are literally the 5 most expensive cards currently from Onslaught. So I feel like now is probably not a good time to buy them. They're all, I think, at or close to all-time highs.
Yeah.
They were reprinted. What, Cons of Tark? I'm looking at Polluted Delta.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right
Cons of Tarkir.
Back in 2014, Polluted Delta was like $100, and then it was reprinted. And Cons of Tarkir, whichever year that was, is that 2014?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was reprinted in 2014.
Okay.
And then that's when the price of the original Polluted Delta dropped from $100 to about $40, where it remained for 4 or 5 years. And then it's crept back up to $100.
Okay. Yeah,
so
they're
like
definitely, they're bringing these back for sure.
I want these cards. They're definitely going to reprint them, but I don't know when and how many years do I wait?
I know.
To get the friggin' original border copy of Polluted Delta, Wooded Foothills, Bloodstained Mire. I don't know. So I'm just going to buy them very, very slowly. We'll see what happens. The other thing I bought is these two were cheap. I bought Alter Dementia Retro Frame.
Oh, cool.
From Brothers War.
Yeah.
I got them for like just a couple bucks. These are sweet. This is something that, because of the reprint, they're now available cheap. So I bought one thing overpriced that's probably going to be reprinted in the not too distant future. And then I bought something that was just reprinted for a cheap price, because these were going for like $15 not that long ago. When I first found out about Alter Dementia and I wanted one, I was like, I don't want to pay this much money for a play set.
Yeah. Which you bought the new one though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers War. There's so much, like, we'll see what happens to the Tempest ones. If they fall from like 15 to like $4 or $5, maybe I'll get 1 or 2. They haven't, I suspect they will drop significantly. They just haven't had time to move yet. And I was like, I'll just get the Brothers War ones because the retro frame one looks really nice. The red is even more vibrant. The frame looks just as good. So I went with it. And you know what? When it comes to pre-modern, people don't care about the reprints. You can play reprints. You don't have to play the original versions in your decks. They don't get too snooty about that. So especially if they look the same, you know?
Yeah.
The only bad thing about playing like old formats with reprints is if the art is totally different. That introduces all sorts of delays into the game because you start playing cards and people are like, hold on a second, what is that?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
And to figure
it's not recognizable. Yeah.
But when it's the same art, it's like, what the hell? It's even the same frame.
I like this. I think it looks good. I've seen some people complain about the retro frame recently, and I don't get it. I don't know. I think maybe they're just people that don't like any retro frame stuff at all.
They must be
like
new frame players, right? Yeah, I've seen that too.
Unless there's something I'm missing, unless there's some other reason they don't like it, but I don't know.
When I first saw that, I saw younger people being like, "Oh, I hate all these retro frame reprints." I'm like, "Man, you're wilding." But you know, they aren't for them. They're for us. They're for the old men.
I mean, it's a little different, like the frame on the old card looks maybe like the patterning in the frame looks a little, the beveling too, like there's a slight difference, but I don't know. I think it looks good.
I think it looks good too. And if I'm talking $2-3 instead of $15, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm buying it. So those are my pickups at the Warp Gate. They were pretty nice people there. They were very friendly to me when I walked in. They helped me out. They helped me find stuff. They asked me what format I played. I said pre-modern. They both said, never heard of that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then a lady at the register was like, you're the first person I've ever heard mention that. But I explained to them what it is. Maybe one day, maybe I just got to keep going to local places and whispering the word.
Yeah.
Pre-modern.
Get the buzz out.
Pre-modern.
I'll do it too.
I got to go on like legacy and vintage days. I don't know if there's vintage days, but there are legacy days where you're probably going to see some older people and be like, hey, remember those cards you used to play with back when you were a kid? You probably have them already sitting in your box. Why don't you break them out? We can play pre-modern.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. They also had they didn't have like a huge selection of old stuff. They had very few cards from the dark, very few cards from Legends. They did have a set of Moxes. Maybe one day, Alex.
Like a whole set?
Yeah, of unlimited Moxes.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know when they got. I don't know if somebody recently sold them to them or if they've been sitting there for a while. Who knows? Gotta be like, how many $5 cards can I trade in for them? I wonder if people, these big sites that have like buy lists and trade lists and stuff, do they ever put limits on what cards you can get in return for trades? Like,
I don't think so, no, but I think they'll put limits on how many of a card they're willing to buy.
Definitely, yeah. I see like, a limit of 1 or 2 or 3 a lot of times for
But other than that, it's just store credit as far as I'm aware.
Okay, so maybe if the Moxes stop going exponential at some point in my lifetime, maybe 10 years from now, some of these cards that I've bought that I purchased over the past year or so, if they continue to go up in price, maybe I'll be able to trade in 300 of them for a Mox jet. Who knows?
Yeah.
When I want to scale back down in my 60s and be like, I'm just going to have one vintage deck. I just need Moxes for it and a Lotus. Probably never a Lotus, but maybe Moxes.
Well, the good thing about pre-modern, like you were saying, is, it's kind of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of expensive cards in that subset, but, it's kind of like compared to legacy or vintage, it's a little more like a pauper version of, one of those. You're going to be using less of the bigger, older cards and more of the like, post Tempest block stuff. And
definitely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. The most expensive stuff, the most expensive cards in Magic are not involved in pre-modern at all.
Yeah.
And there are definitely expensive decks you can build in pre-modern, but I won't play those decks. So I don't have an Elves deck, or if I did have an Elves deck, it simply wouldn't have Gaia's Cradle in it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't win tournaments, but who cares?
The reason that format is interesting to me is because it allows you to play old cards, but also keep the value the price down.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have, Moxes and duels to be competitive, and you can use also the stuff that we kind of missed out on and is from later sets that's still sort of new to us.
Yeah. You don't have to play Mox Diamonds. That might be LED Lion's Eye Diamond. Mox Diamond might be the most expensive cards in the format. I'm trying to think. And very few competitive pre-modern decks even run Mox Diamond. I mean, one of the best
niche too, anyways, right? It's going to be like only for decks that use like a combo around that. So,
one of the best decks in the format. One of the best decks in the format does always run 4 Mox Diamonds, but I just won't play that deck. I don't even like that deck anyway.
Is that like a Phyrexian Dreadnought deck or something?
It is they call it Parfait Oath. And to be honest, I haven't looked into it enough to even know exactly how it works, but it uses land tax and scroll rack. And to get the land tax engine going, it uses Undiscovered Paradise and Mox Diamond as mana. So you have artifact mana, and then Undiscovered Paradise, you have a land that bounces back to you when you use it. So you pretty much get to activate land tax frequently. And then I don't remember enough about Scroll Rack. I don't remember, but that lets you sort through your deck. I don't know what makes land tax and Scroll Rack such a powerful combo, but there's something about the land tax Scroll Rack. Scroll Rack, one colorless tap. Choose any number of cards in your hand and set those cards aside. Put an equal number of cards from the top of your library into your hand. Then put the cards set aside in this way on top of your library in any order. Okay, so I'm knowing why. I'm remembering why now. Because land tax not only helps you fish out more land.
Yeah, it fills your cards up with the
most
land.
Of the time
your
in
hand
this
up
deck,
with the land.
you want to fill your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can burn those, land that you don't need anymore in later turns to draw more. So it lets you go through your deck basically a lot.
Exactly. That drives the Scroll Rack engine.
I like that.
This deck usually runs Ivory Tower too, so they gain a ton of life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But one of the very few decks in the format that runs 4 of the most expensive cards, the Mox Diamond. If you don't want to play Parfait Oath, you don't really need Mox Diamonds for anything. That was my LGS visit, Alex.
Well, that's cool. I'm glad you had a positive LGS visit. Shout out to the Warp Gate in Columbus.
To the Warp Gate. 2 places I've been so far in town, the Soldiery, the Warp Gate. The Warp Gate had a better selection of singles, at least out in the case. Like that was a better place to go just to browse. But both places I went, the people behind the counters were very nice.
That's cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. But as far as basic lands go, since you were mentioning that, I think one of the things I am looking at the moment, I think one of the next things that I might try to grab is a few more beta basic lands. I'm not going to get like a ton of these, but I already have, I forget how many I have now, like 4 maybe.
It's not a bad idea. I've thought about it too.
And I think, I don't know, it's just higher on my list now that I've gotten a few playable things, and as far as something that's collectible and old but not too pricey, I might be grabbing a few basic lands.
Well, I'm still trying to build my basic lands because I have enough for 1 green deck. I don't even have enough basic.
I'll give you basic lands. I have extra basic lands at Christmas. If you come into town, I'll give you
when I come up, you got to give me some mountains. I'll pay you 10 cents a piece.
Sweet.
If I want to get the mountains I want on TCG Player, everybody wants to charge me like 50 cents a piece, which is
you have to pay tax and shipping and all that. Now you're looking at like 5 times the basic land price. Jeez.
And the other thing is everybody sells them like 1 to 3 at a time. I can't find anybody that just has uploaded like 20, 75 Mirage. Oh, so what I did actually is I got sick of doing this, trying to find them. I went on eBay and just typed in like MTG Mirage lands. And I found a couple people right now. I'm sure they'll show up, week by week. And I can find one every once in a while. But right now there were just 2 people who had like 50 to 100 Mirage or Tempest basic lands posted. So I just said, okay, I'll pay like 20 cents a piece for these. What would that number of cards be times 20 cents? And I just put in a bid. We'll see what happens. Because if I could just buy like 100 at a time, that'd be much better than buying them 2 at a time for 50 cents to $1 from TCG Player.
It's a shame that those sets are so far gone now that you can't buy like more targeted bulk. Like it would be back in the day, you would have been easy, but like you can't just buy like some Mirage bulk that would have a bunch of commons and a bunch of basic lands and shit in it. It's all that stuff is all like diluted through the pool. You know what I mean? You can't really find a chunk of it.
And even when I did see some people just selling like big sets of a Tempest or Mirage, just random boxes. They're like, oh, from these sets. I didn't want to buy those because the problem is over the past year or so, I've already purchased a lot of like the commons from those sets that I want. I don't want to have like too many duplicates of too many commons and uncommons, and I might not even be playing that much. I'm trying to keep my Magic the Gathering collection small. I don't want to be overloaded. I don't have like 15 boxes full of stuff that I never play.
Yeah.
But I do need lands. Yeah. And actually when I come up, even if I win this auction, I still won't have the lands I need to build the 3 decks that I want to build. So I will come up and I will raid your lands box. I threw away my lands.
I don't have tons, but I definitely have some to spare.
A couple mountains, 10 mountains, a couple 10 mountains, Alex.
I'll get you some mountains for sure.
Next thing I wanted to talk about is a new set, Alex.
Yeah,
Dominaria
the
Remastered.
new set.
So I was looking back, I was looking through some of these cards, and I saw Arborea.
I heard that
And then I was like, oh
again.
my God.
Again,
I
just
remembered
happened
we talked about Arborea. I'm going to share my screen.
a
We
few
talked about
times.
Arborea like 3 months ago or something. I
Yeah.
thought at that time they were reprinting Arborea. I didn't realize that it still hasn't happened yet. I thought these,
Oh,
I
I
thought,
didn't either.
I thought it was being released, unless I'm wrong, but I thought it was being released with Dominaria United, and that you could pull that variant of Arborea out of select Dominaria United packs. I don't think that's what happened. I think,
They just spoiled it way far ahead of time.
yeah,
Wait, I thought it was in like Double Masters, wasn't it?
no.
No. You're right. That was just a spoiler way. Boy, we're both behind then.
It was just one spoiler.
Okay. Well, that makes me
They,
feel better because I thought I saw that and I was like, what? They're doing it again? They just reprinted it. But
they
it's
might
that
have
it's the same one.
released several spoilers at the time, but they held most of them back. And
Yeah.
this past week, they released all of the spoilers from what they
Yes.
called Dominaria Remastered. So these variants, they're not just going to be included in Dominaria United packs. People listening to this probably already know. We're just idiots. They're being put out as like a separate.
Yeah, because Dominaria
subset.
Remastered is a largely reprint set. I don't know if it's all
Yes.
reprints, but it's like a reprint set.
I think it might be all reprints.
Okay.
It's just a lot of the cards we're not familiar with because they're reprints of new border cards. We haven't made it that far yet.
And I've heard about some of these now just like trickling, you know, I've heard some people mention some, but I actually haven't looked at the list yet. So some of this might be new to me. But I heard about Arborea.
But I was psyched. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's reprinted. Like you said, there's a lot of stuff that we haven't heard about yet, and I probably won't be playing in pre-modern. But a lot of these cards are like highly played in pre-modern, and many aren't that cheap. Like many of these are $20, $30, $40, $50 cards.
Yeah.
And with this reprint in Dominaria Remastered, I'm excited to see a drop in price similar to what we saw when Modern Horizons 2 was reprinted several cards. Maybe I can't remember if Modern Horizons 2 was all reprints or whatever. But there were some things that were reprinted in Modern Horizons 2, which we've talked about them on recent shows. Cabal Coffers being one perfect example. There was like $80. After the reprint, you can get it for like $20, $30. Collapsed in price. I'm hoping the same thing happens with a lot of these cards because I don't have my play sets of a lot of them yet. I want to see them drop in price. So that's one thing I'm excited about. Hopefully I can get the original printing for cheaper. The second thing I'm excited about is the full art variants or the special art variants they put out. A lot of these cards are awesome. In my opinion. So let's go through some of these in white.
Let's go through.
In white, there's a lot of stuff that we're not familiar with. They're from more modern sets. But just going through this, I see Enlightened Tutor.
Yes, the tutor cycle, I guess, is some of the biggest news.
This was a huge thing. Set. I actually have picked up a lot of copies of Tutors because I wanted to get playset Mystical Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, and Worldly Tutor for pre-modern.
Did you?
I think I have like 3 Enlightened Tutors now because I just received one this week. 2 Mystical Tutors and 2 Worldly Tutors.
Wow. I don't have any of those.
I need them, Alex. I needed them.
Yeah, I need them.
I needed my mana base. I've been focused on building lands, my mana base, and buying the tutors. Maybe, you know, I wait, Alex, 3 months. Maybe Enlightened Tutor, instead of being $40 to $50 freaking dollars, which I paid for it, maybe it'll be like $20.
Yeah, that's good for me because I'm definitely way woefully behind on tutors. The only thing I have is the demonic tutor thing nailed down.
Occasion Javelineers, which I'm sure was never more than 10 cents because this was a Fallen
Empires card.
Common. But actually this was a Fallen Empires card that I played. It was just a 1-drop 1/1, enters the battlefield with a javelin counter on it, tap to remove a javelin counter. It deals 1 damage to any target. So this was actually like a cool,
it's better than nothing.
Cool Fallen Empires common.
Back when 1 casting cost creatures didn't have like 5 abilities.
Yeah. Hey man, this was kind of like a Mog Fanatic almost before Mog
Yeah.
Fanatic.
Uh-huh.
And it was direct damage in white. I mean,
Yeah.
I dug it. There's not a lot of other cards in white that spoke to me. There's nothing that really popped out that I noticed was that I recognized as like a frequently played pre-modern card.
Uh-huh. What about
Savannah Alliance been reprinted 1,000 times.
yeah.
Pacifism and
I was gonna
Remedy.
say pacifism, but that's been there are a lot of that, right? That's been
Yeah,
reprinted a bunch. Yeah.
I did pick up some of these previously from Mirage. It's cheap, so you
Art's
know
weird
this
on
is.
this one. It looks like a dude in like boxer shorts.
It's not great. It's not great.
I guess they're more like
Uh,
capri pants, but
yeah, it's a guy in capri pants. So now we know that knights all wear capri pants
white
under their
baggy
armor.
capri. Yeah, it's like I'm
Somebody
sure there's like an
passive.
actual name for these pants, and we're like some medieval history nerd is like shouting right now.
Yeah. Well, somebody pacified this muscular knight, and now he's stripping down.
Yeah, to walk off in the snow.
Yeah, to die
He's
somewhere.
walking off into the snow.
He can't attack or block. He's like, what do I do with my life now that I can't attack or block?
Guess I'll
He's
build
he's,
snowman.
he's rethinking everything, and now he will get frostbite. And then they reprinted Sarah Angel, which of course has been reprinted 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Spirit Link also been reprinted. None of these are even as good as like the original arts.
Nah,
So I wasn't too excited about the white.
these are fine. They all look really similar. They look. I mean, I guess it's okay for like set cohesion, but they have a whatever. I
Mhm.
like that Wrath of God art. That's always
I do
a
too.
good one.
This isn't new, but
No, but it's good.
yeah, I like the direction they went with the Wrath of God. I think the first instance of this art might have been from Damnation. The first time I saw something like this, I saw the card Damnation. I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then they have very similar art for the Wrath of God as well. Blue, this is where I started to recognize a lot of commonly played pre-modern cards.
Okay.
There's also a lot of bird soldiers and bird wizards.
Yes.
Alex, you could build a
Fucking
bird wizard deck. I
love
don't know if you thought
it.
about that at all.
Love it.
But the reprints that are big and pre-modern here, they weren't that expensive to begin with. So, you know, they'll probably drop in price a little bit, but not much. Circular Logic is a counter spell card that I've seen played.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud of Fairies, one colorless, one blue, 1/1 flying, enters the battlefield, untap 2 lands. You can also cycle it. I've seen it in cycle decks. Counterspell, which has been reprinted 1,000
that
times.
card.
Factor Fiction, Frantic Search, both played in a lot of blue pre-modern decks. They're card sorting or card draw. The big
Force. Oh,
the
sorry.
big yeah, the
I
big
was gonna say at the same time as you, Force of Will.
big reprint here in blue is Force of Will.
You went slightly out of alphabetical order there. You hop down to Frantic Search and then back
There are
up to
no
Force of Will.
there are no rules here, Alex. I'm not going alphabetical order. I'm just I'm just reading out whatever catches my eye.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and now I remember this artwork obviously from when it was spoiled a few months ago.
And this is not as cool. This is not
No,
as cool, Alex.
no,
I mean,
no disrespect. It's
I know
fine,
the
but it's
yes, no disrespect to the artist, but I think I still have to drop like $80 on an original Force of Will if I want one instead of playing this. Maybe
it won't feel thin and flimsy.
yeah, I'd be sad if I had this in my deck.
Yeah.
Impulse,
Looks like a
Mana
proxy to
War.
me.
Impulse and Mana War, 2 cards that I
Right.
love, but again, not expensive.
This sorry, let me a Mystic Remora also, but because of those and some of these other cards we're seeing, they're from they're familiar to us from our era.
Mhm.
I've seen some people online suggesting that this is going to be a very fun draft format set. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're right, but to me, just because it's a little more in my wheelhouse, it does look like it might be fun to draft.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
But that's
I
all
think
I was
that
going to
too.
say.
I was also thinking when I saw this, does this mean that they're now legal in modern? Or but I don't think that these remastered sets become part of the modern legal card sets. But
Really, I think the opposite. But I might
damn
be
it, I
wrong.
shouldn't be speaking. We shouldn't be speaking on this, Alex.
Yeah.
Because that would be cool too. That's another thing.
Now, but I don't think they typically are bringing back too much stuff that wasn't already in Modern.
Okay.
You know what I mean? A few, Arborea might be a good example of an exception, but I think there are things that have already been reprinted once. Already. But I don't know.
Format legality of Time Spiral remastered cards for Modern. Because I think Time Spiral might have been the first.
That was a reprint. I don't know if it was the first, but it was a reprint set.
It was a reprint, but I think it was like the first of what they call their remastered sets, something like that.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was at least the first set that was like along the lines of these remastered sets. Format legality of Time Spiral remastered cards for Modern. Let me read this. Mid-podcast.
Yeah.
For Modern, Pioneer, and other formats explained. Watch me read it.
I just saw the result below that said technically no, but I'm confused then.
This is what I thought. I thought the remastered sets didn't become legal in like the limited.
I could see them not being legal in Standard, which is the newest, but I guess. All right.
Is Standard the newest or is Pioneer?
Standard is I'm not sure exactly what the rules are on Pioneer. It's more like a niche format, but like Standard is the newest stuff. Like what would be Type 2 back when we played.
Okay. Is Time Spiral remastered? So I know we're talking about Dominaria Remastered, not Time Spiral Remastered, but I think Dominaria Remastered is treated the same way as Time Spiral Remastered. Is Time Spiral Remastered legal in Standard format? Just like other remastered MTG sets that came before it, Time Spiral Remastered will not be Standard legal.
Yeah, okay.
However, in an episode of Good Morning Magic, senior Magic designer Gavin Verhey teased that some of the reprinted Timeshift cards in Time Spiral Remastered are currently legal in Standard. Okay, so yeah, some of the cards are already legal in Standard, so that's why they're legal in Standard, not because they're going to be in the remastered set, because they already are legal in Standard.
Okay.
But the things that aren't already legal in Standard for other reasons, when they're reprinted in a remastered set, they don't become legal.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That makes sense. But for Modern, it's got to be legal in Modern, because then these cards wouldn't be useful for anything, right?
I shouldn't have said Modern because I don't actually remember. Now I do.
Okay,
I'm using Modern incorrectly. I'm forgetting that Modern means something very specific when it comes to MTG tournaments. And doesn't it mean everything beginning from Mirrodin? Everything.
It's kind of like the opposite of pre-modern. It's like after that switch to new border, it's like everything. I think
everything new border.
Yeah. I don't know if it includes cards that are new in Standard, but everything else, I'm sure it does.
Yes. So all these things probably in Dominaria Remastered would be already Modern legal for.
And that's why people like it, because like these sets bring down the price of Modern format staples, things that are $50 or $60, and they're like, I need this for my Modern deck.
And I don't know what those cards are yet because haven't started playing Modern.
I've heard some. I hear about some of them every once in a while. You know what I mean? You hear about cards like Meat Hook Massacre because it's like really popular.
Yes.
Or like, your Ragavans and your
Lilianas and your
What's
things.
What's the one I'm trying to think of?
Is it a creature?
Dockside Extortionist.
That's a card I've heard. Those are words I've heard before.
Yeah, those are words I'm familiar with. There's another one too. What's the one that's like the Rashadan Port? Is that a Modern legal card? I think cards like that. I don't know. We don't know.
Rishadan Port is a pre-modern card that I'm buying. It's part of me building my mana base, and that's another one that I'm worried about.
Is that Mercadian Masks?
Yes, I'm like, this is going to be reprinted. Do I want to keep buying them at $50? It's going to be reprinted.
Yeah.
But how many years do I have to wait?
That card's been banned in certain formats, hasn't it? Rashadan Port.
I'm sure. I don't remember.
There's one or two, I think, where it's not legal.
I just know I can play it in pre-modern. That's what I care about. Okay, after that little aside,
so unprepared.
where we rambled about what the remastered sets and what formats they actually affect legality in, let's get back to the blue. Mystic Remora, Alex. I've heard people talk about this card, and then I thought to myself, I swear I remember this card, and I looked it up, and it's from a set that we played all the
Yeah, I
time
remember it.
back in the day.
I have
But
some, I think.
I don't remember anybody ever playing
Was it
it.
an Ice Age first, or was
I
it
think so.
Visions?
Yes, it was an Ice Age common, and it's become a thing. Like in 2018, it just started going up in
Holy
price
shit! Look at
from
that.
like 50 cents to
The
$10.
Ice Age one is worth $10. I
An
bet I
Ice
have some of
Age,
these.
an
Woo!
Ice Age common one. And then I looked at it and I'm like, what in the hell? What is this? Why don't I remember anybody playing this? And what does it do? It has a cumulative upkeep of one colorless, which here's what I do. I see cumulative upkeep.
Throw
I
it
keep
away.
going.
Yeah,
I'm not,
keep going.
I don't do it. But then I actually looked at it and I'm
That's our
like,
bias though from our age, because
I
it's
know,
we shouldn't do that.
I know. But even if I think back to our age, back in the day when we played this card, or when we had the opportunity to play this card, it wasn't really that bad. I mean,
You're right. Like back then, I think this was just probably overlooked, at least by us.
I wonder what people do with it now. What happened in 2018 that made them want to start playing it like crazy, though?
I don't know.
It is still. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you play the enchantment for 1 blue. The next turn, you could get free card. You could get card draw out of it for 1 blue.
Yeah.
Unless your opponent chooses not to play any non-creature spells. If they don't play anything that turn, then it comes back to your turn. You have a cumulative upkeep of 1. You pay 1. So now you've played 2 total. And it goes back to your opponent. Are they not going to play a single non-creature spell? Yeah. Also, this counts for during your turn too.
Yeah, it's a good anti-counterspell card.
So like, what are the odds that you don't get card advantage from playing this card for 1, 2, or 3 mana? I don't know. It seems like not a bad card that maybe I should have given a try back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying them now because I'm like, part of me sees it at $10 and I'm like, oh my God, I need this now. And then the other part of me is like, no, you idiot. You could have.
This is an Ice Age common. It's not worth $10.
You could have bought several 100,000 of these for pennies on the dollar for the last 15 years, and you didn't. You're definitely not going to buy them for $10 now. Stop
you might
it.
still find this in bulk boxes in stores. This is a pretty recent price increase from a card that used to be worthless.
So many people these days just look up everything that comes in the store, though, or they just scan it.
Everyone's prepared. Yeah, the scanning apps.
But yeah, maybe if I saw like just a random box sitting at a flea market, maybe you could pull some Mystic Remoras. Because
that's the kind of card to look for in those flea market boxes, or things that are recently,
Ice Age Common 1. How many are there printed? 57 billion.
A million.
I was thinking billions.
Oh, no, I'm saying a million like a lot, but I've no a ton.
I'm thinking kabillions. 103 kabillion Mystic Remoras out there.
103 kabillion.
I wonder if we know for sure the print run of a Ice Age Common 1. I don't know if
I think we have a pretty good idea of Ice Age print run.
But yeah, there's a lot. I'm surprised to see.
It was a lot for the time compared to modern print runs. Which, by the way, getting back to Dominaria Remastered, again, heard some people who are saying that they expect this to be printed pretty heavily. I don't know if that's true. People speculate on shit all the time, but since it's a reprint set, if you compare to some of the other reprint sets, they seem to stick around for a while. Modern Horizons has been around has been around for a while. Available. Time Spiral was, I think, pretty available. It's just that it's gone up in price. People that still have it have marked it up. I'm not exactly sure.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping for a lot of it to hit the market, a lot of the prices to drop.
I like that Arborea art. I know we didn't get down to greens yet, but
we're not there yet, Alex. We haven't even talked about we haven't moved on to the variant art yet, Alex.
All right. Let's get cracking.
Okay. I just decided to type in to find the price of a Hymn to Turak, because I knew that was another Fallen Empires common, which is a great card.
I've seen that goes down like this in price.
Highly priced, 40 cents. So what's happening that Mystic Remoras just shot up from 25 cents to $10 in the time that Hymn to Turak has gone down from $1 to 40 cents. Hymn to Torak, I think, is banned in a lot of formats too.
Probably.
Back to Dominaria. So Mystic Remora, the kids love it for reasons I don't quite understand yet, but maybe I just need to play it, give it a try. Mystical Tutor's been reprinted. Snap, which is a boomerang for creatures specifically, and then you get to untap 2 lands, so it's basically like a free creature boomerang. Stroke of Genius, X colorless, 2 colorless, blue. Target player draws X cards. These are all pre-modern cards that I've picked up.
I might have grabbed a snap or two. Seems familiar.
Time Stretch, Alex. Time Stretch is a card that I saw.
While you're looking that up, I'm going to interrupt you. One difference between Hymn to Torak and Mystic Remora is that Hymn to Torak has been reprinted a few times. Mystic Remora has not.
Oh, okay. There we go. Time Stretch was a card in Odyssey that I came across the other day because it was $25, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be buying that one. It's been reprinted once already in 10th edition, but now it's going to be reprinted again. I might pick up some of these if they were cheap. I'm hoping the price goes from like $22 to $5. Maybe I'll buy it.
Yeah.
It is 8 colorless, 2 blue, Alex. Normally I would never, ever. I don't even usually have 10 mana.
Ever.
The game's over. But maybe, I don't know what I'm not thinking of. Maybe Commander.
Last longer. You have
it's awesome to take 2 extra turns after this one. Time Stretch, 8 colorless, 2 blue. Target player takes 2 extra turns after this one. That's awesome, but you got to get 10 mana first.
So many manas.
What am I not understanding? I would never think that any card that costs.
Look this up on Gatherer to see what people say. I feel like
I don't even know what they're going to tell me because I don't understand why any card that costs 10 mana would ever get this high in price. Unless it was like from an out unless it was for purely collectible reasons, like it was so rare, but that's not the case here. It's an Odyssey.
Like let you play a sorcery for free, or like lets you, reduce the cost of your sorcery. But let's see. If you have the mana, this is obviously terrific. Try it out in EDH for a good time. That's exactly
Commander, It must be, right? It must be Commander, where games last long. People have like 32 lands on the board. I don't even know if that's the thing that usually happens in Commander because I never played it, but I'm imagining. We're in the black now, Alex. Chainer Dementia Master. I saw people excited about.
Someone said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was still looking up ways to use Time Stretch."
Okay, keep looking.
Someone mentions Energy Tap, the 1 blue sorcery. Tap target creature you control, add an amount of colorless mana equal to its casting cost to your mana pool.
When I was purchasing like old school commons earlier this year, I bought 4 energy taps, and I was like, "This card seems like it should be played more often."
I don't know why we didn't play it back in the day, but it's a good card.
Okay, I like that.
There's also, okay, check this out. Joyra of the Gitu.
Okay, I'll go with it.
She's a legendary wizard creature, human. She's 3 casting cost. I'll get it. It doesn't matter. She has an ability. Exile a non-land card from your hand. Put 4 time counters on the exiled card. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend, which means during your upkeep, remove one of those counters, and then you cast it without paying the mana cost.
That's too many words for me.
I'll break it down. She's a creature. She's 2/2 for 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 red. So she's 3 casting cost. You can pay 2 to exile a card from your hand. So you would exile the Time Stretch from your hand for 2 mana.
Okay. I got all this. I got all this. It's when you started talking about the counters.
Then you put 4 counters on the Time Stretch.
Okay.
Every turn you remove 1, and when the last is removed, you cast it for free.
Oh, okay. So it just hangs out there in limbo. With the count
4 turns later, it's free.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you just have to cheat it into play somehow.
Okay.
There's Mind's Desire. There's a sorcery for 6, 4 colorless, 2 blue. Shuffle your library. What? This is weird. I don't understand how you work. Okay. Sorry. 4 colorless, 2 blue, sorcery. Shuffle your library. Exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast it for free.
Okay.
Oh, but it has Storm on it. So when you cast this spell, copy it for every spell that has been cast before it this turn. So you can cast this and fish for your time stretch with
Okay.
Storm. Or you can put the time stretch on top of your library with
Yeah, you could just-
manipulation and
make
just
sure it's
cast
there.
this for 6.
Which
So
there's a
it's
ton
still
of that
6
in blue.
casting cost. I don't know. I like the Joyra of the
I do
Gitu
too.
combo a lot more.
That's my favorite one so far.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Anyways,
Okay,
we're getting
so-
to the block now.
So there are things that the kids do with it we just weren't aware of.
Yeah.
Joyrod, what set was that first printed in?
That looks new, I think.
Joyra something Gitu.
It was in Future Sight,
Oh man, that's new.
which I've never even heard. That's the first time I've seen that set. Future Sight, Modern Masters, and Time Spiral.
Yeah, Future Sight. Cheap.
What the heck is a Future Sight?
You can pick that up cheap right now.
Yeah. Nice little combo.
Okay, so maybe I will try to pick that card up if it drops down in price. We'll see.
And you know, that's the kind of card that in the future, a future reprint could really help it.
Yeah.
Or I mean, a future card, like a new card that comes out,
yeah.
not a reprint. That could help it.
So Black had a lot of cool reprints. Cackling Fiend, I've seen this before. It's kind of neat. It's a zombie, 2 colorless, 2 black. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. That'll make everybody happy when you're playing multiplayer.
Yeah.
Chain of Dementia Master, legendary creature. Some people were excited about this guy.
Chainer's Edict.
That's a
I picked up 1 or 2
black,
of those recently.
Creature hate card. Not creature, it just kills creatures.
Yeah, it makes them sacrifice though, which is good because if it's a creature that you can't target or is like invulnerable or whatever.
Duress. This is a great card, cheap, so it's not like the reprint's going to affect the price or the ability of you to pick it up or anything, but it's always a good reprint. Great for draft. Like you said, if you want to draft this. Entomb, this was a big one. I'm hoping this drops the price. Entomb, 1 black instant. Search your library for a card. Put that card into your graveyard, then shuffle. Of course, I want to build graveyard decks, but so many of these graveyard cards aren't cheap to pick up because so many people like playing graveyard decks.
Entomb is expensive. Wow.
I know. If you want to pick up the original Odyssey version, it's $43 market price right now. So I'm hoping to see a Cabal Coffers type drop here.
It'd be great if this popped down to 20.
The other thing is, I'll get to that later. I won't talk about that right now.
Okay. I see Evil Eye of Orms by Gore as well.
This was a fun one to see for the old men. Creature Eye, Summon Eye. This is this the only eye in Magic the Gathering?
No, I'm sure there's more eyes by now.
4 colorless, 1 black. Non-eye creatures you control can't attack. Evil Eye of Orms by Gore cannot be blocked except by walls 3 to 6.
Yeah. This is a card that back in the day was not like a big deal, but now people use it more, which is interesting to me.
I wonder what they use it for. It was I just always thought it was like a funny card.
I looked it up once.
As a funny card.
Yeah, I looked it up. I can't remember.
Festering Goblin. We love this. Also cheap, but we love it. Nantuko Shade, another great one. Here's one that
Nantuko Shade, cool.
Yeah, there's all sorts.
I just picked up those.
There's all sorts of awesome cards that are being reprinted in here that you can already pick the originals up for pretty cheap, but they're still awesome to play. So like you said, if you wanted to draft this, it would be fun.
Yeah.
The ones that excited me the most, though, like I said, there are the reprints that might decrease the price of the original.
I like that Howl from Beyond artwork.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Creepy beast in front of the moon. It's pretty cool.
Mind Slicer. This was something that I thought was pretty cool.
I don't know that card.
2 colorless, 2 black, creature horror. It's a 4/3.
Whoa.
When it dies, each player discards their hand.
I love that.
Yeah. So I was like, this guy could do some work. I looked him up to see when he was originally printed, and he has been reprinted before, and he's also pre-modern legal because it was an Odyssey.
Was he from Odyssey? $6?
$6 now. Something crazy happened in 2021. It went from It went from like $5 to $10 to $30 in the course of like several months, and then dropped from $30 down to $7.
Weird.
I don't know what that was about. Now it's reprinted. I wonder if they made the decision to reprint this back in like mid 2021 when it was spiking to $30, and they were like, "Oh man, we got to bring the price of this
Definitely,
down."
yeah.
Something brought it down on its own. I don't know what. It definitely wasn't a reprint of 9th edition, which happened many, many moons ago.
What else is in
It's in the list. It's in Dominaria Remastered and in 9th edition.
Huh.
So this spike and collapse had nothing to do with a reprint as far as I can tell. But now it's being reprinted again. So we'll see how low this gets. I would love to have multiple.
I like this card because it's I mean, I don't know. It's sort of obvious. I shouldn't even go into it, but I like it. It's cool.
What are you gonna say? Actually, like it because it's good?
Well, yeah. Obviously, you have like the EDH thing where like it affects all the players, and if you play around it so that you're playing it with a small hand and it doesn't matter, like that's cool, or some kind of madness or something like that. Does madness work? Does it have to be affect an opponent controls for madness?
No, you can pitch your own cards. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's good in that respect. I really like the ratio of its power toughness to casting cost too, because like for 4, you get a 4/3 creature that has a big ability.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that seems pretty stacked to me. Normally you'd be like, oh well, he's only 3, so he's boltable, but you kind of want him to be bolted, maybe, like you want them to be like torn between killing him easily and discarding their hand, or just like letting a 4 power creature sit there. I like the I don't know, the tension that it brings to the battlefield.
Yeah, no, this guy's a pain in the ass to deal with.
Oh, look at this Nightscape Familiar. That's one of those cards I like. I like those familiars that reduce casting cost.
Yeah. No Mercy's being reprinted, which is another one that's currently quite expensive. 2 colorless, 2 black enchantment. Whenever a creature deals damage to you, destroy it. Can't remember what the price of this was. It's a first printed in Urza's Legacy, current market price of $38.50.
Whoa.
So yeah. So when they announced it, when they spoiled all these on the same day, like some people on Twitter were not happy. Some people were very happy. There were a lot of people saying, oh, people's collections are going to collapse in value.
What did they tell? Okay, so hold on. That like, if you are holding cards that aren't reserved list, that are $30 to $60, like,
you just got to know.
You should be expecting them to be reprinted.
You got to know that it can all happen. Yeah, it can happen.
They monitor the values and they want to sell boxes and packs, so they want to put valuable cards into them.
Yeah.
So they're going to use, I don't know. It's just about managing reprint equity, and I know people are like upset that they think they're doing a bad job because they're reprinting too many things. Some people say the opposite. I think they're at least, whether or not you agree with their individual decisions, I think they're at least spending some effort. You know what I mean? It seems like they're monitoring it fairly carefully. They're trying not to crash things, but they're definitely targeting things that have gone up in value and are not available now for, less than $30 to $60.
Yes. Yeah. And some people might think that that's greed, but, and they're obviously doing it because they want to make money. Like you said, they're monitoring the secondary market. They're seeing what cards they can reprint to make the boxes seem more valuable for people to buy.
Yes.
But at the same time,
balancing it with making a fun draft environment.
Yes. At the same time, I feel like this really is good for players. There are all these cards that I want to get that I just, come on, man. And I'm a grown ass man with a job.
But I can't build a deck of all $40 to $60 cards. Like it's,
Exactly. It's crazy. So how are younger people going to get into this game and enjoy these cards? And I don't think that this many cards, this many game pieces for a game people want to play should be this expensive. And, the prices of the originals are going to drop. I think that the price of the originals will always, as long as the card is popular and the game is popular, command some sort of premium. They'll always be more valuable. They don't need to be this more valuable, though. It's crazy. Like you and I both lived through Chronicles, and Chronicles has come up a lot because of the 30th anniversary edition, and it's also I've seen it brought up in the conversation about Dominaria Remastered. and the reprinting and what it's going to do for the game. There's a narrative out there that like Chronicles almost destroyed the game, and Magic the Gathering had to institute the reserve list in order to save the game, because so many people were angry because their valuable cards were reprinted and now they weren't worth anything. That is one narrative that is out there.
It is wrong.
I am not totally convinced that that is the truth at all.
No,
you and I were young. We lived through Chronicles.
There's some truth to that.
When they reprinted it, we were like, awesome. We can get these cards that we want to play with now.
I remember both. I remember both things happening. I remember there were some people who were pissed because their if Bloodlust was Chronicles and not 4th edition, I can't remember, but
this is definitely
4th edition
true.
and Chronicles were the same issue. You know, some people were definitely pissed, and I think because Chronicles happened so early to the beginning of the game, in that era, there were a lot of people who were still like, this game's a fad. Like, the fact that cards are expensive will not last. So I think that Chronicles being released then, yes, was maybe a little more dangerous as far as the overall reputation of the game. Also, Chronicles had issues with, in my opinion, like relative to the other sets in the time period, it was printed super heavily. So they probably made a mistake as far as how much Chronicles they printed. It seems like today they're trying to be, you know, they learned their, I'll say it seemed like they learned their lesson after Chronicles. They continue to do that sort of thing, but more scaled back. Does that make sense?
They don't need to reprint they don't need to reprint everything to the point where it's just worthless paper and you're walking down the street and you're stepping on reprints of Magic the Gathering cards everywhere you go, because they're just they're littering the entire landscape countrywide. That's not going to happen though. There's no reason why there are so many cards that are getting up to $20, $30, $40, $50 and more that Wizards should never reprint. I mean, reprint them. They're game pieces. They should be available for people.
If they have that much value, they should reprint them. I don't see, you know, I'm, you know, I more or less agree with the reserve list. I think, but as far as reprinting in demand modern staples, as long as you don't make them completely valueless, if you drop them from, you know, $50 to $20 or something, that's fine. It's a cycle that will continue to happen through the game. Cards will have value. They'll go down a little. They'll come back up. You know, it can be managed.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I think it's a good thing that they're reprinting a lot of these cards that are $40, $50.
The next line, I'm gonna immediately contradict myself on the next line of cards here because I've been staring at it.
Okay, hold on a second. We're going to No Mercy, and then I'm going to Oversold Cemetery. I don't know if that's the one you wanted to talk about.
No.
Oversold Cemetery, which is another one we talked about not that long ago.
Right, I was looking at this.
It was very expensive. Onslaught, $20, $15. Well, not as expensive as the others, but still, if you want to get a playset of,
it was more than I wanted to pay for it, so I haven't bought one.
Yeah, so this is going to come down.
It shouldn't be that much. I don't think it
so either.
Deserves to be that much.
So what do we go to now? Are you going to talk about Phyrexian Scudda?
That is what I was going to talk, because I picked up a few of these.
They reprinted the Scudda.
Yeah, I picked up a playset of these basically because I saw it and I was like, that's a good card and it hasn't been reprinted. So it was kind of like a little bit of a speculation for me, but it wasn't expensive anyways, though. So it's not.
Yeah, I was going to say I bought some too.
It was like a $1 rare.
That's what I thought. Yeah. They ruined your
this is a rare that hasn't been reprinted and it's good. It's a buck. I'll buy it.
They ruined your retirement plan, Alex.
They did. They screwed me over.
You're going to retire on.
That's right. I have the old border ones. I still have the old border.
Scuddas. One day these are going to be priced the same way.
Oh, look how much better the old one looks. The aspect ratio of the art's better.
It does.
It's not as squished and flattened, and it's darker.
Yes.
Looks way better.
You've lost no money on your Phyrexian Scudda investment, I think, Alex.
He's hanging strong. That's a good card, man. That's like a Jazam Jin reprint.
I want to play it. Vampiric Tutor. Here's another big black reprint. And Zombie Infestation.
And Yawgmoth Thran Physician.
I didn't even see the Yawgmoth Thran Physician. Legendary creature, Human Cleric. Did we talk about this recently? I feel like we did.
Maybe they spoiled this a while back when Arborea and Force of Will they mentioned this one, I think, because I saw it.
When was this Thran Physician first printed? I don't think this is a pre-modern legal card.
I feel like it's a newer card.
Yeah. Which is probably why I haven't paid much attention to it.
Old Yagi.
First reprinted in either Modern Horizons or Time Spiral Remastered. Well, it must
Oh, it must have been
probably Modern
originally
Horizons.
in Modern Horizons.
Probably.
It's
That's what I'm
Modern
thinking.
Horizon. Weird.
Let's go to red. Chain
Right.
Lightning is a
Chain
cool
Lightning.
one.
Has that been reprinted much?
It has been reprinted multiple times, but I don't
Okay.
know what the size of those reprints were. You know?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Let me pull that up and see. I don't think this will do anything to the price of the original. You know,
No,
Legends,
no, no.
there's not that many of them. There's enough people that want to play Chain Lightnings that I don't think any reprint
And
of
it's
Chain
not,
Lightning.
it's like Chain Lightning, blah, it's not super expensive or anything. Like I think it's,
Exactly.
it's priced where it should be. I don't think it's going to make this tank like it was on a bubble or something.
So it was a secret layer, which I knew, and I saw this one. I like this. It's like an electrified cat.
Oh, that's not bad. It's kind of
It's pretty
cartoony,
cool.
a little goofy.
Premium
I'd like
deck
to see one
series.
with Blanca from Street Fighter. That'd be cool.
That would be good. Premium deck series, Fire and Lightning, Masterpiece series, and Uncut Invocations. These sound
Ooh.
like very small prints so far.
It's a $35 one.
Reprinted in Eternal Masters. I don't know anything about the size of that set. Reprinted in Jumpstart. Isn't Jumpstart like a set that comes out for like beginners?
Kind of. I don't think
They
it's
release
strictly for
Jumpstarts.
beginners. I've heard some good things about it recently about people saying that it's fun. It might be like it's a good like hybrid set. Maybe if you want to like introduce new players and play with them. I think they keep the cards fairly simple, but they make it like a good draft environment, kind of, so people can just open it up and start playing with it, and it's fun.
Okay. And in Battle Bond. So like we can see that there have been many Chain Lightning reprints, but I think probably all in smaller sets mainly. Except
Yeah.
Jumpstart is kind of, I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't know about Eternal Masters and Jumpstart. Dragon Whelp, adorable.
Good old
as
Dragon
always.
Whelp.
Flame Tongue Kavu, not an expensive card, but this is a card that gets lots of play in the pre-modern era decks. 3 colorless, 1 red, 4/2. When it enters the battlefield, deals 4 damage to target creature. So it's good to clear out your opponent's creatures if you want to then stomp them. It's bad if you're playing against somebody with a creatureless deck. Fire Blast reprint. This is a classic, but it's already cheap to pick up the original from Visions.
Yeah.
Gamble, which is like the red version of the Tutor. Did we talk about this before? This is a wild card. 1 red,
No,
sorcery.
I don't think so.
Search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand. Discard a card at random, then shuffle.
I hate it. I hate it.
I think we might have, I don't remember if we talked about this on the podcast or if we just talked about it randomly, but
I don't
swear
remember
we
talking
had,
about it at all.
I think we had a conversation once about like, why don't they have a red Tutor? Where's the red Tutor? And then we found this. This is the red Tutor.
I hate it. I'm sure some people like it, and there's probably some like math behind it being good, but
yeah,
I just I know with my luck that's gonna screw me over.
it's fun. You could also play it in a deck where you can cast things from your graveyard, so you don't really
That's
care.
true. Yeah, you could play it in black red. That would be fun. Yeah. Okay.
Then we got some Goblin reprints here. Goblins that I just bought recently, and then I'm going to talk about later in the episode. Reprint of Gem Palm Incinerator, Goblin Matron, Grib Lavamancers, a cool card from pre-modern. I'm blanking. I think it was first printed in Torment. It's not super expensive, but not cheap either. It's good for burn decks, Alex. I don't know if you've seen the Grim Lavamancer yet.
No.
First printed in Torment.
Oh, okay.
It's a rare. You can pick up the originals for $6. 1 red, 1/1 creature wizard. Tap a mountain and tap the wizard to remove 2 cards in your graveyard from the game. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to target creature or target player. So it's another way to do direct damage. You're playing red, you're playing spells every turn. You're going to be filling up your graveyard. Then you can use those spells to do extra damage with the Grim Lavamancer. Sometimes people run, actually somebody posted a deck pick on Twitter, and I asked them, I was like, oh, what's the reason for the fetch lands in this deck? Because it was just like a mono red deck, but he had the fetch lands in there. And he said it was to feed the Lavamancer. And I was like, oh, of course. you know,
Okay.
put things in your graveyard. Then you got a way to do extra damage when you need to finish off your opponent. Lightning Rift. This is a basis of one of the big pre-modern decks that I can't remember the name of. It's a red-white Rift. Overmaster. We talked about this
Overmaster?
recently, right?
Yeah,
This card is not super cheap right now.
it's not.
Between 10 and 15 bucks, I think.
Yeah, I got one a little while ago. I think I can't remember exactly. I paid 10 for it, I think.
About 10 bucks, yeah. It had a huge spike 2021. It used to be $1, then it went up to 20. Now it's back down to 10. That's probably going to drop again due to the reprint. So maybe this is a good time to pick up a playset if you don't have a playset of these yet. This is a pretty cool card.
Where how many artworks are there for this card?
Already?
Yeah, like there's the
Well,
original and this new one. Are those the only two art styles?
Well, there's going to be a full art too that I'll get to a
Okay.
little bit later. Dominaria Remastered. It's not showing up yet on.
But so far before this, the Torment. Oh, the Torment's the only printing. Okay.
Yes. Kind of weird that this card was so cheap for so long. Never been reprinted. It's a good card.
I thought when I came across this, like what I don't know, 2 months ago or whatever, and I bought one, I was like, that card is so good. At least compared to the 1990s.
Yeah. There's a lot of good cards in this set in red. Siege Gag Commander, Skirk Prospector, Slice and Dice, Sneak Attack. People love Sneak Attack. Not cheap. Sulfuric Vortex from back in the day. World Gorger Dragon. They have amazing new art for World Gorger Dragon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Green, some of my favorites are Arborea, Birds of Paradise, Crop Rotation, Elvish Spirit Guide.
Oh, yeah.
I just bought 4 Elvish Spirit Guides, Alex.
Did you?
But I actually don't care.
Owned!
I bought the Secret Layer version because I really I love that art on the Secret Layer version.
I still think that's fair. If it's a staple with good art in a Secret Layer, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer because it can't go down and out. I mean, they're not tournament legal, right? But I still think I don't know.
I'm playing them.
I'd buy Secret Layers with good art for sure.
That's what I do.
Already gone and you can't get them anymore.
And it was I mean, when I first saw it, I loved the art immediately, and it was done by an illustrator who I knew of and really liked before, like for years. I've seen her work different places. She's a pretty famous illustrator, and I was psyched to see that she did that card. Exploration.
I don't love this Exploration, how it looks.
That's terrible. But I'm hoping it causes a drop in the price of sorry, I shouldn't say it.
Some people fine. You can have an opinion. We just have a disclaimer. You know, if we trash your art and you're the artist, you know, it's not personal. I
don't want to trash anybody's art because what I'm going to talk
our
about.
Opinion, man.
After we go through this, we finish this set. I'm going to spend even more time talking about the full art variants.
Well, that's what I want to talk about is look those full art variants.
People, they complain about all the printings, but like one thing I think Wizards is doing really great is putting out reprints with special art.
Yeah.
We've talked before about the art in Magic the Gathering. Like there are 2 things that make this game great. Keep me coming back to it. The first is, of course, the gameplay. But the second part, and it's maybe equally as important, is the artwork and the flavor that gives the game. Like this game would not be fun if you were just playing like blank game pieces and just had text on them.
They just had like a green triangle on it or something.
It's so important, and they are really making some incredible art with these remastered cards with some of the Secret Layers.
I love the extended art type, borderless type treatment. I think that's, it's one of the few things I like about I've said this before, but it's, compared to new modern border cards, it's one of the few things that I really like that they're making now.
And when we first started talking about that, when you first showed me these, I was like, I don't like it. Doesn't look like a Magic card, blah, blah, blah. But they keep putting out more, and some of the art is just so good. That, like, I don't care if it looks like a Magic card anymore. The art is so cool. It's such a cool game piece. Kamal Fist of Krosa, another green reprint that I'm excited about. I'll be picking some of those up.
What set's that from?
Maybe Onslaught? Let me think.
Huh.
It's a pre-modern era. And it's a cool ass card for land destruction. Maybe some other things too. How do I spell?
Yeah, Onslaught.
Onslaught, okay.
I haven't seen this card before.
It's a big casting cost, but you know, you got green, you got ramp, 4 colorless, 2 green, legendary creature, human druid, 4/3. Tap a forest, target land becomes a 1/1 creature until end of turn. It's still a land. 2 colorless, 3 green creatures you control get 3/3 and gain trample until end of turn. So you can use it to finish off a game with your horde. You just come trampling through at the end. You can also use it to pick off their lands. You can make them 1/1 creatures. You can pick off their lands. You can make your lands 1/1 creatures and go wide and attack them to finish.
Yeah, it's pretty versatile. I don't love the casting cost, but interesting.
Nut Collector. Reprint of Nut Collector. That's a big one for your squirrel deck. Nut Collector has such a weird price chart. I looked this guy up. The squirrels went nuts for a very short period of time. And then they've come down. Like Nut Collector.
Whoa. Look at that.
It was like a couple bucks forever. And then beginning of 2021, it went from like $5 to $50 in 6 months for unknown reasons. And since July 2021 has done nothing but come down, and it's back to like 973, and now it's going to go even lower.
Weird.
So now would be a good time to pick up your original version of Nut Collector. And the original art is much cooler. The druid in the tree with all the squirrels.
Yeah, he's taking a snooze.
Anyways, like now's a great time to start building your squirrel decks if you want to. Squirrel's Nest, another big squirrel.
Well, let's go back up.
You know, we made a mistake, Alex.
What's that?
We told people several weeks ago that now was the time to invest in Squirrel Synergy.
That's true.
Because the prices were dropping, but now all the Squirrel Synergy is being reprinted, so the prices are going to drop even further. So if you have not yet invested in Squirrel Synergy,
bail.
2 months from now would be the time to really go hard.
What
on squirrels.
Did they? I wonder if they spoiled Nut Collector already, and we just weren't paying attention to it. You know what I mean? Like that's why some of these prices have dropped because they knew about this,
like
or
they
it's just coincidental.
They spoiled all of them on Wednesday, but they did spoil some of them previous to Wednesday too.
Yeah,
like Arborea.
Might be our fault, but
if we screwed up, I don't care.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Fault. It's good to have,
it's good to have squirrel stuff anyways.
You told me to go back up. What did you want to look at?
Oh, no, down from here now. Sandstorm.
I can do the song.
I know there's just an old common that's been reprinted a million times, but I like this art. I don't know if it's the first time we've had that art, but
it is pretty cool. It's nice.
Pretty cool. I like that big, voluminous cloud. It's kind of like, what was that card I brought up last time?
Voluminous cloud.
No, it was that black red gold border card. I'm blanking on it now.
Terminate.
It was like
black red gold border.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it. No, can't find it.
Is it this one?
It was called. What was it called? Like Backlash or
It's not this. No, that's a volcano with the dragon.
No, Terminate. Good guess though. That's close. This was that one that had like the wizard and the 2 big giant monsters like rolling around fighting in a cloud.
Don't remember. It's not going to come back to me, Alex.
No, that's all right. I'll remember it in a few minutes, then I'll shout it out inappropriately.
Here is a major reprint, Sylvan Library.
Yes.
I would love to see what happens to the price of this, because even like the reprints of Sylvan Library. You don't think?
I mean, not much, because like I think you were about to say the old ones hold strong.
Yeah.
This is a card that even
that just tells me so many people want it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Even the reprinted 4th edition, which was a highly printed set,
and that's
is still expensive.
That's what I was gonna say. Even it's not just that the Legends version is expensive, like white border reprints from 4th and 5th edition that were like pumped out are expensive.
But that tells me that players, not just collectors, but players want it to play, and players gravitate towards the cheapest version.
Yeah,
so
very in demand.
There are going to be a lot of people that, if this is printed at high enough numbers, will bypass even the 4th edition one and goes to this one if they can get it cheaper. That should drive the market price down for, at a minimum, the 4th edition one, I would think.
Maybe. I
But
don't
we'll
know.
see.
I see this card being like, it's in such demand that it's just gonna like
It's a possibility.
maybe you're right. Yeah, it'll probably drop
It all
a bit.
depends on the print size of this set and whether or not the extra printings are enough to weaken the demand.
Yeah. How much?
Well,
hits the
they
market.
won't weaken the demand, but weaken the price pressure caused by all the demand. Werebear. This is a card that the kids slightly younger than us love, like the kids that came in after we quit Magic already. Not that long after we quit Magic. Kids that started in the pre-modern era. They love this.
Oh, okay.
The Werebear. It's a mana bear.
Mana bear.
With threshold.
Who's ever heard of such a thing?
A mana bear. And you know what?
A mana bear.
I want to say something else. People talk about mana elves, right? You know mana elves,
Yep.
Llanowar elves. Lots of elves give mana. And then they talk about mana dorks.
Dorks?
Yes, this is a term that I hear now.
What's that, like a human wizard mana thing?
They use it to refer to creatures that create mana that aren't elves. Like they call birds of paradise mana dorks. I hate this.
That's stupid.
I propose manimals.
Oh,
Mana
wow,
animals.
look at you.
That is so much better than mana dorks.
Why
I actually
dorks?
think it's offensive.
Is dork an acronym?
The birds of paradise to refer to them as dorks. They're majestic creatures.
Yeah.
They should be manimals. Birds of paradise is a manimal. Werebear is a manimal. I don't know if dork stands for anything. I don't know where that term came from.
Huh.
And I don't remember hearing it back when we were playing, when we were children. But I hear it now when I hear people talk about Magic the Gathering. They refer to these cards as mana dorks. Worldly Tutor. This is the third tutor that was reprinted. Multicolored. There are lots of cool multicolored reprints. Absorb. This is a really cool counter spell. It's the price of a healing salve and a counter spell. Target counter spell, gain 3 life. Arcady Sabbath. Don't know why they're reprinting this Elder Dragon only in this set. But
just that one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird,
really?
I think.
I don't hate the art. It looks like he's flying in front of Moat from Legends.
Yeah. Nothing's gonna beat the OG.
No. But it's
okay. Decimate, we talked about this recently. Draw News Crusade, we both love. Gerard's Verdict, a good discard card. Yeah, I see it a lot in the Dead Guy Ale style, white-black decks. Hunting Grounds, we've talked about before. This is sweet. Hope to
I
see
don't
the
remember
price
talking
drop.
about Hunting Grounds, but I do like that.
I think it's running. I wonder what the price of Hunting Grounds is now. It's also not cheap. I also am hoping to see a price drop. First printed in Judgment. It's a $15 card. Got up to 20. Another, all these spikes. People who are going to complain about the prices of their card dropping, none of these cards were worth anything prior to COVID.
Yeah.
The markets got crazy inflated. These reprints are just making your $50 card that should not be worth $50.
Yeah,
now,
stuff that's on a bubble and
exactly.
And they should. We should not be mad at them for taking advantage of like that bubble and then in part helping correct it, because I don't know. Otherwise, do you want to be able to play the game?
The bubble should be corrected.
I think we're just hearing from, a very vocal speculation group.
Exactly. A vocal MTG Finance crowd, which I don't know what percentage of people are like as focused on MTG Finance as the people in MTG Finance are.
That's what's tough to tell.
You and I would not call ourselves MTG Finance people, but we are interested in card prices and stuff.
I think we would. I think we pay more attention to it. I would. I think we pay more attention to it than a fair amount of. We're at least in the top half.
Here's why I wouldn't.
How much we care about it.
I look at it, but here's why I want to call myself an MTG Finance person. I've never purchased a piece of cardboard for an investment, for a long-term investment.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that we're both more players, and especially you, but like, I just mean we pay attention to it. We monitor it.
Yes, I am price conscious.
You watch trends, you look at graphs and sales histories, and I don't think a lot of people do that who play.
Yeah. But I don't purchase multiple copies with the intent of
Right.
flipping
No,
them.
not that. That's not.
I don't
Yeah,
have a
that's-
room
yeah.
full of sealed product, which seems to be a thing that a lot of people have gotten killed on, and a lot of
Yeah.
people are angry about, that they like have a den full of sealed product that they
Yes.
thought they were
Well,
going to hold for like 2
because
years and flip for
a bunch of
500%.
that went crazy a few years ago, and then
Yeah.
now, like, you know,
That was a bubble.
yes,
It had all the hallmarks of a bubble. There was no
Mhm.
reason for things to be behaving that way. It seemed to be lots of speculators lots of speculators selling to other speculators. We should get back to a point where most of the game pieces are available for game players to purchase at a reasonable price. Alex, look at Sawtooth Loon. I've never seen this one before.
I do see him, and I remember this card.
One white, one blue. This has to
Seen
be
it
a
before.
modern card.
I've seen it before.
Oh, creature
I think
bird.
it's the same art. I don't think this is new art. This looks like the card I've seen.
Return a white or blue creature you control to its owner's hand. When it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of your library.
Yeah.
Now, and you know when Sawtooth Loon was originally printed.
You're doing it. Oh, you're faster.
I'm typing.
You got it.
Plane Shift. I can play this card.
Oh, okay, yeah. Plane Shift.
Hell yeah, I'm in.
But yeah, I've seen it.
It's 19 cents. Why don't I have 4 copies of Plane Sawtooth Loon already? Writ the Awakener is a card.
Historic bird deck.
Yes. I have Hunting Moas. They're green. I'm going to make a white, blue, green Hunting Moa, Sawtooth Loon, Pterodactyl of some sort deck.
Pterodactyls of some sort.
What would I? Rocks.
Play some rocks, yeah.
Yeah. They're more mythical creatures, but similar to actual giant birds that did used to exist.
Yeah.
Not that far away. Writ the Awakener, I love this card, but original's cheap. Solkanar, love this card. Nothing beats the original.
Yeah,
Solkanar.
don't like this artwork as much.
Nah, the original.
It's okay, it's not bad, but it's the
classic.
He looks more like a mindless beast in this new artwork. I don't like that as much. He doesn't look so much like a, you know,
a king. He looks like a king.
Yeah,
he doesn't look like a legendary.
More like a rah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spirit Monger is a great card and a card that I'm gonna put in just
that's a good
green
card.
Black stompies. But
I bought I think I got one of those and I like it.
I bought a playset. They're cheap to buy. Can't remember how much they cost. They're definitely less than $5, I think.
Yeah. It's like a $3 rare or something.
Legendary Insect Wizard, the best insect wizard in the game, Zira Arian.
Yeah, she's cool. Oh, that's weird art. She looks like a witch now.
She's a dragonfly of some sort, I think. She's flying. She's got her same bug head.
Is it blurry?
Maybe.
Like, is that?
Could also just be the resolution.
Is that the art?
I don't know.
It
We'll
makes
have to buy one to find out.
Huh. Interesting.
Lots of split cards reprinted. Artifacts. I wasn't familiar with a lot of the artifacts. Seen Helm of Awakening. I've seen Icy Manipulator, of course.
I hate this artwork of Icy Manipulator. Sorry, my opinion.
I've seen it before. It's not the first time they've printed it with this.
I don't want it to look like a futuristic. Sorry.
It's just not. Yeah, it's not it.
It's not it.
Not it. Juggernaut art. Also not in love with it. The Jester's Cap art's pretty wild.
That's okay, yeah.
This might be the only, I wonder if this is the only variant art for Jester's Cap so far. The original Jester's Cap art, though, it's so iconic. When I buy a Jester's Cap, it'll be the original. It'll be the original Ice Age. Oh, yeah, there's been other artwork for Jester's Cap before. 9th edition. Ice Ages is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were any artifacts reprints I was super excited about. Lotus Blossom. This is going to destroy the value of our original Lotus Blossom printings, Alex. We were going to retire on this, but
what are the old ones? $5,
something like that. Bridges has ruined our plans. This is cool that Tormod Script and just Triskelion are both getting reprints.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what am I saying? I wasn't. This is one of the cards I was most excited about, Alex, for the White Whale deck that I want to build that I can't afford right now. One of the things I wanted, because it was a deck I was going to build where I wanted a hard cast, high casting cost angels, because that's a recipe for success. I wanted to get Urza's Incubators. As there's a three casting cost artifact, as Urza's Incubator enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creature spells of the chosen type cost 2 colorless less to cast. So you just angels.
Great tribal card.
Pump out those big angels. Urza's Incubator from Urza's Legacy, I think, is like $50 or something.
Is it? Oh,
maybe even more. And I wanted a play set, and I'm like, there's no way I can't do this.
I didn't think it was that much.
Especially since it's not reserve list. I'm like, when is this going to be reprinted? How long am I going to have to wait? I'm very curious to see what the reprint here does to Urza's Incubator. I said Urza's Legacy, it's Urza's Destiny. Current market price is $47.27.
Dang.
It started rising in 2018 and it's just gotten expensive.
This is a card.
You were going to say exactly what I was going to say. So just say it.
No, maybe not. I was going to say people have been talking about this as like a card in the set they're excited about.
Oh, okay. I was going to say this is a card that so many people, I'm sure, want to play.
Well, yeah, same thing.
So like any tribal deck, everybody has a tribal deck that they love running.
Mm-hmm.
This card, they can't just let this card get up to $100. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, especially because tribal decks are usually like for casual play and people doing things for fun. Like
they're reprinting the layers, Alex, which you talked about. I know you picked up some layers.
Those. I think they're cool.
Probably underplayed. Gemstone Mind, Maze of Ith, Mishra's Factory. So there's a lot of good lands in here. I'm not really familiar with what any of these lands do. These enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a swamp or a forest. So the layer lands are really the only reprints that I recognize here.
I don't hate these either. These I don't know what they call them, the woodland cemetery type lands. They tapped unless you control a swamp or forest. I mean, that's fine with me. I wouldn't be running 4 of them or whatever because you don't want to get that as your first land. But if as long as it's after the first turn play, it's not nothing wrong with those.
When were these things first printed? I
don't know.
I'm not even sure.
Let's look.
Innistrad.
Really? That late?
Yeah.
Oh, that might even not be that late because there have been a couple, right? I don't know anything.
90 something? No. 90 something to something to 2000 something. 2011 maybe was when Innistrad was printed.
Okay, that sounds right. Sure.
I'm just looking on MTG stocks. They're Dominaria Remastered, pre-release, promo pack, and Innistrad. So Innistrad must be their first printing.
Yeah, that's the only one on Gatherer. It says Innistrad and Dominaria.
That would explain why I'm not familiar with them yet. And then some people online I saw were actually excited about some of these basic land reprints. They're reprinting some old art basic land in old frames.
What set is that art from? Or is it different sets?
It's all different sets. So this is a classic island.
Oh yeah, it's an old school island.
The lightning one, I can't remember. I just was looking at this the other day. These arts I don't recognize at all because they're much more modern. This one is the Mirage Mountain that I'm trying to buy more of because most of my red decks I want to run the Mirage Mountain. Okay. This might be an Urza's Saga Mountain. If not, it's similar, at least color-wise, to Urza's Saga Mountain. I could be wrong about that. I believe this is an Urza's Forest.
I recognize that Mirage Mountain for you.
I want more of those, Alex.
Yeah, the lightning one that looks really familiar. The plains, because it looks like a Mirage style, but it's not from Mirage Revisions.
It's not much further after that, though. I was literally just looking at this the other day, and I can't remember.
It almost looks like one of those Pacific special edition lands.
Yeah.
It's
not, though.
No.
This is people.
I like it.
people were posting their favorite basic lands or which ones they're most excited about.
That's
a
a
lot of
good
people
one.
seem to like this one. There's too much going on for my taste. I actually like the Fields of Wheat better.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
Yeah. Personal preference.
It certainly, captures the essence of, planes, I feel like,
But now the things I was really excited about, Alex. So Dominaria Remastered has all sorts of cool reprints, could affect prices and the secondary market in ways that are beneficial to somebody like myself and yourself, who may still want to buy some of these cards. But, they're the new frame. They also reprinted a lot of these with old frame art, which I love. Even though some of them, like Enlightened Tutor, I can't run this instead of the Mirage Light. I can't do it because I don't like the art enough. I like the old frame, but I don't like the art.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these have cool art in cool old frame style. This Savannah Lion looks pretty good in the old frame.
Mm-hmm.
Wrath of God looks pretty good in the old frame. The most exciting bit of this, though, are the full art variants. The Tutor cycle, especially, I like a lot. I like it a lot. They brought Richard Kane Ferguson back to do the Tutor cycle. So he is the Enlightened Tutor, Mystical Tutor, and Worldly Tutor.
I like that Enlightened Tutor.
I'm into these. I'm curious to see how expensive they are on the secondary market, because I'd love it if they were even cheaper than the original. I'd definitely get at least one of each if they were cheaper than the original.
This Wrath of God is interesting. I like this because it looks like they fused the two together, like the old artwork.
Oh yeah, it does.
And the new one with the white sun explosion thing. It looks like they combined them. I kind of like that.
That is pretty cool. Blue, a lot of the cards we talked about already, just in old frame.
Yeah.
Old frame style. The Force of Will, also Richard Cade Ferguson. Very cool. We saw this. This was spoiled a long time ago, actually.
Yeah.
These are the.
Yeah, I remember
we talked
that.
about these around the same time we talked about the Arborea reprint.
Mm-hmm.
The Mystical Tutor looks great. The Time Stretch, I really like the Time Stretch full art variant.
Huh.
Curious to see how much that goes for. It's pretty fun art. Dermot.
Yeah, that's fun.
Somebody. It's hard to read these. Black, of course, looks great in the old frame. Everything black. All the black cards always look great in the old frame.
Yeah,
so
it looks more like it's more seamless.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
If I was going to pick up some of these, like this Entomb looks great.
Yeah,
this Mind Slicer looks great. The Entomb especially looks great.
Yeah, with the sunset over it or the orange glow of the sky.
If this is significantly cheaper than the original, I like this better, I think, than the original art.
Oh, look at this Terror. That's an interesting art. I don't know if they've used that before, but it's...
Oh yeah. I wanted to talk to you about that too. I was just staring at this earlier today. And I was like, this is insane. It's it's the body of the person being killed, I'm assuming, and his musculature being removed from his mouth, and then his skeletal system being removed from the mouth of his musculature.
Yeah. It's really weird. I like it.
Crazy.
Whoever came up with that.
I know. Adam
Rex.
Rex. Congratulations, Adam Rex, because that's very good.
Yeah, that's
in
crazy.
Concept and in execution. I'm glad you're pointing this one out, because I saw this earlier today, and I was like, I think this might be my Terror. Like if I were to run Terrors on the deck, I think I would like this one.
Yeah, the art's
over anything else, unless I had like a beta Terror or something, which I don't.
Yeah,
but it's so cool.
I didn't even notice the human skin on the bottom, like the bottom third of it, because I was so busy at first looking at the skeleton jumping out of the muscle's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool how the whole thing makes like a circle,
yeah, that's great.
Little snake eating itself kind of thing. It's cool.
The full art variant of Entomb, I really like.
Yeah, that's cool with like the acidy bubble, putridy bubble,
like
gross stuff.
Oversold Cemetery. I think I like the old frame version over the full art variant. And then the Vampiric Tutor full art variant, again by Richard Kane Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
I really got to pick up some of these. I don't know how much they're going to go for. I probably don't want to buy them right away. I feel like a lot of the big releases
wait for sure.
Start off much higher.
Yes, yeah.
I think.
Especially with this, I think it's gonna be a big-ish, let's say not small set. Maybe it won't be huge, but there will be enough of this out there that I think you can get these cards for less than release week prices for sure.
Everybody's going to want the tutors. They're going to be chase cards from this set.
Look at the Double Masters stuff that was happening a few months ago. Like, people were super pumped about it. They were worried, or not worried, but they thought it was going to be pretty small, run. People were really trying to hit like that Imperial hit the hit.
What's the Imperial hit?
The Imperial Tutor.
Oh, yeah.
So is it called Tutor?
Imperial Seal?
Imperial Seal, yeah. All I'm saying is that this stuff was hot, right at the release of this, and it didn't disappear. Its prices have dropped, and the product is still for sale. You can still get packs of this. It's around. It hasn't become super, super scarce immediately. It was not as small of a set as,
Yeah.
I don't know how to phrase it, but you see what I mean?
Yes. I haven't seen a single person or heard a single person mention Imperial Seal since you just brought it up to me. And I totally forgot about this reprint. When we first started talking about Magic again, we saw this and we were like, why in the hell is this card like over $1,000, this Imperial Seal? And it's just because it was exclusive to this very rare Portal 3 Kingdoms set. People were very pumped about this reprint in Modern Double Masters 2. Yeah, when it first came out, it was over $500 or around $500, and its market price is $73 now.
God, yeah, imagine holding on to that.
$72 now.
But yeah, the set is, people have been talking about this a little bit recently. It's it's still on the shelves in stores, so you can get it. So, and I'm not saying that's not like some kind of crazy complaint by me or anything. I'm just saying, thinking about this going into Dominaria Remastered, I don't think you have to worry about these tutors being ultra scarce.
Yeah, give it time. Wait for people to open the packs. It'll probably be the best way to go here.
Yeah.
Gamble looks great with the old frame. Grim Lavamancer looks great with the old frame. The Goblins look pretty good too, although I like the original art for these Goblins. I really, really liked it's the full art variants for some of these cards. Grim Lavamancer, I think that's awesome. I want to pick up one or two of those. Last Chance, people are giving this kudos.
I like the Last Chance. That's good.
That's good. The Ward Gorger Dragon is amazing. And actually, I saw the original piece of art without the text box over it. It is awesome. It still looks great here, but it looks even more amazing if you don't have the text box covering any of it. It's this giant space dragon.
It's all wrapped around the Earth.
To consume the planet Earth.
The planet, whatever. Dominaria or whatever.
RK Post. I don't know what. Where is Dominaria? It's a plane. It's a different plane.
Plane, yeah. Whatever. The planet.
It's gorging on some planet. It doesn't matter which one.
It's a world. The world, yeah.
RK Post printed that or painted that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's hard to tell what's going on at first. It's a little bit like dark.
Yeah.
But it might just be, how it looks on my computer. I'd like to see that one in person.
Let me pull something up.
Black bordered Birds of Paradise.
I know. I was staring at that black bordered Birds of Paradise thinking to myself, when I was staring at it, I was also thinking about the black bordered Birds of Paradise that people were pretending to be excited about when they pulled out of the Magic 30. They're like, ooh, black border.
I kind of feel the same way about this, I have to be honest. Like at first I was kind of like, when I saw it, but it has that new tap sign, it has the new set symbol. It's just, I'd rather have like an unlimited Birds of Paradise.
Oh, yes, but still, like my point mostly about the 30th anniversary edition one was, oh, people were saying, oh, you could get an old border version of these, right? This would be so amazing if I get an old bordered version of these. And they have to pay $250 for a pack of that to potentially get an old bordered version, of this card. Whereas now you can potentially get an old border Birds of Paradise in a pack of
Yes. Yep.
Dominaria Remastered,
True.
like a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
And it's not going to cost. I don't know what Unlimited Birds is going for now, but it's probably over $100 or around.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say right around 100.
Yeah, I actually have no idea, but I know it's
no.
not.
No, I might be wrong. Actually, it might be more than that.
It could be 200.
Yeah. I'm immediately thinking I'm wrong.
It's definitely not cheap for the price. I'd say right now this might be one of the best values in the Birds of Paradise space.
The Birds of Paradise space. I'll revise what I was going to say, though. I mean, I'd rather play revised Birds of Paradise, and that's, I think, $30 or something. So
I just bought 2.
That's 30. Did you?
They were $20. I got them for about $20. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good price.
Yeah, light play $20.
Um,
They're coming down. A lot of things has come down pretty significantly in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Elvish Spirit Guide. I do like the new Elvish Spirit Guide art, even though I bought the Secret Layers because I love that art the most. The new Elvish Spirit Guide art is pretty good.
Yeah, I was definitely wrong about Birds of Paradise. There aren't even any near mint ones for sale in Unlimited.
Really? Not even Unlimited?
Lightly played between 200 and 300.
Okay, I was thinking like $200. Now the full art, the art variants for the green, really great in this set, I think. I love the Arborea.
Yeah, the Arborea is awesome. Ago. The Birds of Paradise is awesome.
Birds of Paradise is pretty cool. The Nut Collector, I actually like the other variant better, just an old border, not the full art. The Sylvan Library, I'm very into this. I'm very much into this. Like, I don't know what this is going to go for, but if it's like the price of the 4th edition ones currently, I'm all about this. I want to have a copy of this. And the Worldly Tutor also is great.
I like that Sylvan Library. Yeah,
I like it a lot. Yeah. It's like, I think this might be my second favorite. I might go Legends and then this, as far as my preference. I don't know what the other versions are. I mean, the 4th edition one is just the Legends art, but with the white border. And then the other version of Sylvan Library, printed in Dominaria Remastered, isn't quite as cool as this full bordered variant. I'm all about this one. I'm curious.
It looks like Lord of the Rings art.
Yeah, it does. Mark Poole. Classic. These look great. A lot of these gold cards look great in old border. I mean, they look just like their versions from Plane Shift or whatever set some of these are from. Absorb might be from Invasion. These two are from Plane Shift.
Like I said, back to what we were talking about earlier in Inopportune Time. Backlash is the card I couldn't remember. Black, red, gold border. Backlash. With the 2 demons fighting in the cloud of smoke. Backlash. Tap target untapped creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to its controller. Yeah.
How did you pull this up?
It looked like Sandstorm is what I was saying originally. That new.
I know, but how did you eventually remember it? Did it just come to you?
I found my list of cards that I was buying. Buy. Sorry.
Full art variant of Decimate is wild. I think I'm into this a lot.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
It's a lot of color.
I know. I like that. Absorb is pretty cool. Hunting Grounds, pretty cool. Decimate's the standout here for me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The artifacts all look great, old border. I like them a lot better than the I mean, in general, I like the old border, but I think it especially suits the artifacts.
Yeah. Yeah. Having that like grayish, silverish border for it doesn't
exactly. I need it.
Artifacts are supposed to have that brown. They're artifacts. They're not new made, highly polished steel. They're rusty, old, pulled from the earth, covered in dust. right?
You know, as much as I love the Ice Age Jester's Cap, this one is pretty cool too. This full art variant of Jester's Cap. I'm
Oh
into
yeah, that's
this.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Looks like Tim Burton kind of
it does.
little
It's like the
A-toggy kind
stand,
of guy. It's
the
neat.
the Mad Hatter, Mad
Mhm.
Jester looking stand that the cap sits atop.
Like the cap is that sort of like patchwork quilty kind of thing. It's neat.
I like it. And then full art variant for Triskelion,
Oh,
which is very cool.
huh.
And actually, I saw the full art of this without the text box. Very cool.
Yeah, I like that picture.
There's like it's a really neat reimagining of this. I think
Hmm.
the tri-headed
And an
monster,
Urz's Incubator
artifact
full
monster.
art. This doesn't blow me away, but just
Yeah,
because of the card being
it's too
popular,
straightforward.
I bet it'll be expensive still. You know, I bet it'll have some value.
The lands, another one of my favorite full art variants in this set is one of the lands. The Maze of Ith I like a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a good Maze of Ith. It's
That's very
better
cool.
than the normal one in the set. That's that old,
Yes,
you know.
I agree.
This is much better than that. That's cool.
Maze of
I
Ith, I
like
gotta
that.
go with the dark. I always like the original.
Yeah, the dark's
but
cool. It's just so creepy.
this is like my second favorite, probably.
Yeah.
Second favorite.
I also like, I have to say, I don't hate the Gemstone Mine full art here.
Mhm.
And the Dark Depths full art is pretty cool.
I wasn't even looking at this card because I don't really know what it does. Are you familiar with Dark
No,
Depths?
I'm not. I saw it
Okay.
above in the other, there's other versions of it in the set. But
Legendary Snowland. It enters the battlefield with 10 ice counters. Pay 3
I love
colorless.
ice counters.
Remove an ice counter from Dark Depths. I've never heard of a card with ice counters on it until then.
Okay.
When Dark Depths has no ice counters on it, sacrifice it. If you do, create Merit Lage, a legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible.
Okay. Yeah.
What wild modern set is this from?
Bring it. But it's from like Ikoria or something, whatever that one's called, with all the big monsters.
What kind of absurd magic is this? Cold Snap.
Cold Snap. Okay.
Okay, that explains the Snowland.
Is that the first, or is it... Scroll down? Is that the first?
It's probably printing? The first printing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. From the Vault Lore, Double Masters, Dominaria, Ultimate Masters, Ultimate Masters, Double Ultimate Masters, Ultimate Double Masters.
Brutal Ultimate.
I was trying to think of something else. I don't know what else
Ran
to
out
say.
of ultimates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this artwork. The only thing is that little border at the top, that Dark Depths text, like title border.
Yeah, why do they do that?
That kind of, you know, ruins the immersion for me. Other than that, I love that the whole like, it's understated but like dark and creepy.
Yeah, ominous.
Pretty neat. Pretty neat.
There's something down there.
Good. I agree with you about that.
There's something down there. I don't know what it is, Alex.
Oh yeah.
What do I see down there? Is that Merit Lage? Could that be Merit Lage? A legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying indestructible?
Probably.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That is what it is. More terrifying than the Leviathan from back in our day. Even more terrifying. That was only 10/10.
Yeah. I'm looking for other Merit Lage cards now. You have Wrath of Merit Lage from Ice Age.
I don't even remember that from Ice Age.
It's enchantment. 3 colorless, 2 blue. When Wrath of Merit Lage comes into play, tap all red creatures. Red creatures do not untap during their controller's untap phase. So it's a red hate enchantment. Weird.
From that card, I never would have got that Merit Lage was a legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying indestructible. Never would have got that.
There's Merit Lage's Slumber from Modern Horizons. Now this one's more on point, giant tentacle monster.
They must not have quite worked out what Merit Lage was in Ice Age. They kind of figured it out later.
Or they did. They had the idea, Merit Lage is some, ocean god.
Yeah.
And then that's why they made a red hate card, but the picture on the Ice Age one doesn't really, it's like a tree. It doesn't really do anything for me.
Okay, Alex. Well, that's the review of
Yeah,
Dominaria Remastered. I'm into it. I'm into
I
it for
like it.
multiple reasons.
I'm into it. Cool art, cool reprints. I bet it would be fun to
Yes.
draft. I recognize enough of the cards in it that I'm not like feel like I'm out of my element.
Yeah, we're not totally lost.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We could pull these and we could open packs of these and make a deck. There'd
Yeah.
be stuff that we weren't totally familiar with to think about for a little while, but we can make a deck.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty cool.
Okay. Well, Alex, I think we're going to wrap it up for the day. We were going to talk about goblins. I had plans to talk about goblins, but there was just too much to
They have
talk about.
skittered off into the caves.
Too much good Dominaria content. Too many cards to look at.
Yeah.
So we're going to put off goblins for next week, and even then, it's just going to be an introduction to pre-modern goblins. I have several episodes worth of pre-modern goblins content to discuss.
Come back for the first taste of goblins.
So I just want to say thanks everybody for listening. If you made it this far, please subscribe to Old Man Magic on YouTube. Give us a like. You can also find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Where else, Alex? That's it for now. We have a Twitter at Old Man Magic. We have a Facebook at Old Man Magic.
We're all over the place.
That's it. Those are the different platforms you can find us on. Do you have anything to add, Alex, before I sign off?
I don't think so.
You don't have to. Okay. That's it for the day. Talk to you later.
Later. Peace.
Peace.